Welcome to Newswatch tonight. Thank you for making time for this newscast as we bring you stories making headlines today. My name is Melissa Oduor. On the sign language tonight is Boniface Morethi. Remember, tonight we feature Veronica Okola as we discuss entrepreneurship and finances, what every entrepreneur should know. Coming up on our business news segment, Lessons from the Entrepreneur. Before then, here are some news items. The passing on of renowned Pentecostal leader Apostle Joe Kayo has left a void in the hearts of those who admired his leadership and spiritual guidance. The Christian community in Kenya and Uganda today gathered to mourn the loss of this influential figure in the Pentecostal charismatic movement. Apostle Kayo was laid to rest today in Nairobi. From a troubled youth to a revered spiritual leader, Apostle Kayo's journey has left a lasting impact on countless lives, as narrated by our reporter Dolly Mwirigi, who attended the funeral service.
Members of the clergy, various religious leaders have joined mourners to celebrate the life of Apostle Joe Kayo, a man with a long-standing legacy. Apostle Kayo was buried today in Nairobi. The passing of Apostle Dr. Joe Kayo, a reverend figure in the Pentecostal charismatic movement, has left a profound void in the hearts of Christian community in Kenya and Uganda. The Christian community in Kenya and Uganda, as well as the wider Pentecostal charismatic movement, united in grief as they bid farewell today to Apostle Joe Kayo. Speaking during the service at Ulinzi grounds in Langata, various religious leaders eulogized him, having left a deep void in the hearts of those who admired his leadership and spiritual guidance.
The Lion of Judah, the Son of David, has triumphed, and this general has triumphed. Fare thee well, Apostle Kayo. Thank you.
The loss of such a reverend figure is felt not only by his family, but also by the countless individuals whose lives he touched and transformed.
Today, Dad, we have gathered from close and faraway lands to bid you goodbye. The emptiness we feel cannot be explained away. It's as though all things that surround us have stood still. We are a bit fearful moving on now that you no longer walk with us. Yet amidst this uncertainty, we can hear your voice urging us along.
What an honor. It's an honor to have been in a relationship with my grandfather. He taught me a lot in the little time that we had. And one big thing he taught me was your presence must demand respect. And that's the thing that I carry with me. And I plan to take Grandpa's message of Christ Jesus and preach it around the world, preach it in USA, preach it in Africa, Nairobi, South Africa. I believe that that's the vision that Grandpa had, and I am honored to carry out that mission.
What God showed Joe Kayo, my generation, and the generation after us will only see it by faith. It is the generation that we are fathering now, the killers and their children, who shall possess what this man prophesied, and he saw many years ago. And I'm so glad that there's a generation of Jeremy and the others that are rising, so that what God promised Abraham shall be established.
What is certain is the profound impact he had on the lives of those he touched. Kayo passed on Thursday, November 2nd, age 86. He leaves behind a widow and 3 sons. Dolly Mwirigi for Hope TV, Nairobi.
Indeed, farewell to Apostle Joe Kayo. Moving on, Kenya has strategically elevated its international standing by initiating vital foreign trips focused on strengthening the nation's market presence abroad. This is according to government spokesman Dr. Isaac Mwaura. Addressing the press, Mwaura said the strategic move will ensure the country has a significant impact and further elevate Kenya's position on the international stage. Veronica Wanjiru reports.
criticism locally seem to bear fruit in the global scene, with government spokesman Dr. Isaac Mwaura not shy to spell out some key progress made in deals signed by the president. Mwaura stated that the Kenyan government has successfully signed a crucial network agreement with Rwanda, solidifying the foundation for establishment of Kenya-Djibouti ties. Furthermore, a resident mission has been inaugurated in Razabel, emphasizing Kenya's commitment to fostering diplomatic relations.
The President's visits have yielded numerous benefits for our nations, emphasizing our commitment for fostering international relations that enhance our economic prosperity and global influence.
This as President Ruto has set up a diplomatic signage with the government spokesman saying the government has taken a significant step towards sustainable development by joining Millennium Challenge Operation, a game-changing initiative designed to promote the use of electric vehicles. An estimated $3.4 trillion in benefits are expected from the Huawei contract, which is aimed at digital infrastructure modernization.
President William Samoei Ruto has stepped up diplomatic outreaches with various countries with the aim of diversifying economic ties and deepening foreign relations.
Shifting focus to environmental concerns, Dr. Mwaura lauded Kenyans for participating in the National Tree Planting Day and undertaking a massive tree planting initiative to combat the adverse effects of climate change. With floods, drought, human-wildlife conflict, and agricultural challenges on the rise, the government aims to grow 5 million trees by the season's end, surpassing the initial manual tally of 150 million trees planted.
During these short rains, the Ministry of Environment, Climate Change and Forestry targets to grow 500 million trees by the end of the season.
Addressing the pressing issue of the thorny issue of the high cost of living, the government spokesman said the government is actively implementing measures to alleviate the burden on citizens. He said special attention is being given to a soaring cost of fuel, with efforts underway to mitigate its impact.
The government is doing all what is possible to bring down the cost of living so as to give our people a comfortable and affordable way of life. And from the outset, I must say, as a government spokesman, that we appreciate and we stand with Kenyans because the cost of living really has skyrocketed.
Veronica Wanjiru, Hope TV News Watch.
Thank you, Veronica, for that report. Now, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked the Engineers Board of Kenya to weed out quacks to protect the integrity of the profession. Speaking when he officially opened the 30th Institution of Engineers of Kenya Convention and the 18th World Council of Engineers in Mombasa, the Deputy President said only qualified and certified professionals must be allowed to work, pointing out that unqualified and uncertified people have injured the reputation of engineers in shoddy jobs such as collapsed buildings and construction of roads which require repair even before completion. He has challenged the engineers to invest in improving and updating their skills to meet the development demands of the country and the globe. Gachagua said the government is taking measures to bridge the about 7,000 demand gap for engineers in the country for development.
We want to appreciate our professionals for building our country. Our country is what it is because of the professional engineers who have given their energy and time to serve this nation. We have one of the most established infrastructure sector, whether it is the roads, whether it is the ports, whether it is the airport. There is no sector that we do not have, that we have not used. Not just engineers from other countries, despite the fact that we continue having engineers coming from other countries, but by and large, I don't think we can say that in this nation, we have more than 10% of foreigners performing engineering work here.
As we engineer a new world, rapid urbanization in Kenya and Africa has been put to test, especially in collapsing of buildings, bridges, and other infrastructure. We lose people to collapsing buildings and substandard roads, mostly linked to unqualified or uncertified practitioners in the industry. This puts the reputation of the profession under question of a competency of members. We are ready to work with the Engineers Board of Kenya and other relevant agencies in clamping down quacks. Through the right ministries, we invite you for an engagement on legal and policy frameworks. Besides monitoring and regulating education and training, eliminating intruders is one of the ways of restoring dignity to the engineering profession. On this note, I wish to declare the 30th Institution of Engineers of Kenya Annual International Convention and the 18th General Assembly of the World Council of Civil Engineers officially open.
Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga has vowed to oppose the government's increase in charges for some services, including issuance of national identity cards, saying that every Kenyan is entitled to own the IDs for free. The former Prime Minister was speaking in Westlands, Nairobi, during a meeting with church leaders where various matters pertaining the future of the nation were in discussion. And as Grace Hati now reports, the government has since revoked the Gazette notice listing new rates for various services following public uproar, and has now published new rates for public participation.
A day after the government made some changes on the 7th November's Gazette notice, which sought to increase charges for some services, including the issuance of passports and national identity cards, Azimio leader Raila Odinga has taken issue with the proposal altogether. Speaking during a meeting with church leaders in Westlands, Nairobi, Odinga expressed disappointment in the government, noting that it has lost direction for asking Kenyans to pay for documents like national IDs, yet it is their right to own them for free. This comes after the release of a new Gazette notice containing slight changes from the previously revoked November 7th notice that announced an increase in charges for some government services to allow for public participation on the matter. In the new Gazette notice, Kenyans will now be required to pay 300 shillings for first-time ID applications, down from 1,000 shillings that was proposed earlier, replacing lost ones at a fee of 1,000 shillings instead of the intended 2,000 shillings. The changes have, however, been gazetted to take effect on January 1st, 2024.
Sasa mtu atataka uende ununue kitambulisho kwa Mkenya, na baba yako ni Mkenya, mama yako ni Mkenya. Sasa wamesema ati ukiwa wewe Mkenya ukaenda huko nje ukapata msichana huko, upate mtoto huko, ili aje akawe Mkenya milioni moja. Je, hii ni ungwana? Hii ni ungwana? Hawa watu wameshindwa. Mambo ya kitambulisho tutasema ni lazima kila Mkenya apewe kitambulisho.
While criticizing the government's intention, the opposition leader vowed to ensure that all young people aged 18 and above possess identity cards, noting that this will increase the number of registered voters in the upcoming general elections.
Watu vijana wetu ambao wamehitimu umri ya miaka 18 wawe na vitambulisho na waende wachukue nini? Waende wachukue kura. Tunataka kuzidisha idadi ya watu wetu ambao watachukua kura. Ili kitu muhimu zaidi. Mambo ya ID tutapigana nao hapo. Kitambulisho inatakikana kila Mkenya apate bila kulipa chochote. Maana hiyo ndio inaonyesha wewe ni Mkenya.
On matters politics, Raila has endorsed Westlands Member of Parliament Tim Wanyonyi to run for the Nairobi gubernatorial seat in the next general election, describing him as a dedicated leader who is best fit for the seat.
Tim Wanyonyi huyu umetoka naye mbali. Yeye ni mtu ambaye anajua kazi yake. Yeye ni mtu kwanza amesoma vizuri, anajua mambo ya sheria, anajua mambo ya uchumi. Mtu kama huyu anaweza kufanya kazi kubwa zaidi. Kwa hiyo mtu kama haya nataka apewe fursa. Lakini mimi naambia nyinyi sasa, sitataki kuanza mambo ya kampeni mapema.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Grace Ahati.
Let's take a first short break here on News Watch. We'll be right back with more stories.
Friday Frenzy. It's been a year of non-stop vibes, laughter, and incredible moments with Tiffany Wamboe and DJ Kevin on Friday Frenzy. Well, we'd like to celebrate this milestone together. Join us on the 17th of November 2023 at the Huruma Grounds from 4 p.m. till late for the ultimate Friday Frenzy Anniversary Bash. Brace yourselves for mind-blowing performances by Diddy Man, MC Ocampo, Timeless Noel, Jappy D, and the sensational Dangari.
Special thanks to our sponsors, Kiamaiko Ward, Eden Tea, Sita Missions, Hope FM, Hope TV, and Star Times.
Je, ushawahi kuweka jambo kwenye mizani? Ushawahi kupata uzito wake? Haya basi, usitapetape zaidi. Naomba unigande, maana mizani ipo hapa kwa ajili yako.
Vyakula na mbegu za kitamaduni
na kutuliza fikra na kukuwezesha kupima masuala ibuka katika jamii. Tena kwa busara. Tukutane mizani kila Ijumaa saa 1 machweo kwenye runinga ya Hope TV.
Welcome back. Now, mental health experts and neuroscientists have convened in Nairobi to explore innovative solutions and strategies to promote brain health in low and middle income countries. The conference, held under the theme Healing the Brain, Bridging the Gap in LMICs, began today and will continue until Friday. Conveners are expected to address the impact that mental health and neuroscience have on individuals, communities, and societies. The conference will also discuss the obstacles that countries in the global south face in addressing brain health issues, including access to care, insufficient research, development and funding, cultural barriers towards help-seeking behavior, and general lack of awareness by the population.
The inclusion of mental health within the Sustainable Development Goal marks a true victory for decades of scientific inquiry and passionate advocacy. It heralds a new era for the field and its practitioners. And really it is thanks to you, thanks to all the mental health professionals, the researchers, the scientists, the practitioners, for creating that understanding and awareness of mental health. All of you are on the front lines, whether as clinicians, researchers, advocates, leaders, or policymakers.
There's a lot of stuff that we're learning every passing day about mental health and neuroscience. And yet, despite all this progress, despite everything that we are learning, everything that we're doing, people in the low and middle income countries continue to suffer a heavy burden of mental ill health and neurological problems, and we are not doing enough to address this.
In the low and middle income countries, where we have more than our share of stressors and difficulties, we have a lot of trauma, and where the availability of highly specialized therapists and treatments are unacceptably low. Our focus is on brain health and mental health. The BMI's ethos is to span from the neuron to the neighborhood, and also across our multi-country campuses in Africa and Asia.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has meanwhile directed Pharmacies and Poisons Board, to crack the whip on chemists selling counterfeit drugs, saying the commodities are a health risk to Kenyans. Gachagua said, though the Ruto administration policy is that no enterprise should be criminalized, the government will not allow chemists to sell fake medicine and drugs that have not been certified. Speaking in Nairobi's industrial area during the opening of the 1.5 billion shilling Questacare pharmaceutical manufacturing company, the Deputy President said security agencies will be involved in the crackdown. He called on foreign investors to open manufacturing businesses in Kenya, saying the government has removed bureaucratic processes in licensing businesses. The Deputy President welcomed the opening of the new manufacturing company, which will employ at least 500 people.
In the financial year 2023-2024, 62% of resources allocated for the purchase of pharmaceuticals and 25% of nanopharmaceuticals were reserved for local manufacturers. The strategic allocation goes beyond financial considerations. It is an investment in the innovation and industrial spirit of the Kenyan people. The Buy Kenya, Build Kenya initiative, championed by the President, is not merely a policy, but a call to action for subsidized development and national self-reliance. By prioritizing local talent and resources, we contribute not only to economic growth, but also to a reduction in the order turnaround time. Local sourcing shortens the import process from 4 to 5 months to just 2 to 3 months, ensuring health facilities are equipped properly.
Because health is a devolved function, we have put money every year to support devolution to succeed, because they are the implementers of that critical component of our social support program, because health is a devolved function. You know, we are partnering with the county governments on the community health volunteers, who are now called promoters. The government has agreed to partner with the counties on 50-50 basis, where we are able to give some stipend to the community health promoters to encourage them, to motivate them, to provide that much needed primary health care at the bottom of the pyramid.
And Prime Cabinet Secretary and Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has urged African countries to set up legal and moral grounds for reparations, saying the continent should explore different models of reparatory justice to ensure timely compensations. This as Kenya affirms its support on efforts to establish a sustainable action plan for reparatory justice process for victims of historical and colonial injustices in the spirit of a united Africa. Mudavadi told the African Reparations Conference in Accra, Ghana, where he is representing President William Ruto, he was making the remarks even as a call for unity among Africans, people of African descent in the diaspora, and other stakeholders through the establishment of African-Caribbean Joint Mechanism on Reparatory Justice. The conference is being attended by African heads of state and government.
Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this historical conference affords us the opportunity to reflect on the many milestones we have achieved together, nationally and collectively. Not long ago, we stood unmoved in the face of adversity to confront the servitude of colonial subjugation and racial discrimination fearlessly. With singular determination, we reclaimed our dignity, freedoms, and right to shape our future. Thank you, Ghana. In Kiswahili, asante sana, Ghana. Kenya further welcomes the establishment of an African Committee of Experts on reparations for the purpose of developing a common African position on reparations. Further, Kenya avails itself to offer its expertise to ensure sustainable reparatory justice. I urge all of us, brothers and sisters, that we work, invest, develop, and deal with global challenges together as one people.
Ghana is humbled by her choice as host for the Africa Reparations Conference, which is being held on the theme, Building a United Front to advance the course of justice and the payment of reparations to Africans. To those of you coming from beyond our shores, especially to the AU Chairperson and President of the Union of Comoros, His Excellency Azali Assoumani, I extend a hearty akwaba, our word of welcome, and I hope you enjoy your stay, all too brief, amongst the people famed for their hospitality. I thank the African Union for this initiative. bringing together under one roof this distinguished audience from all spheres of life and from all over the world to participate in this conference with its rich agenda and to deliberate on its important theme.
To some international news now, U.S. President Joe Biden has met with Chinese leader Xi Jinping for the first time in 6 years for talks that may ease friction between the two superpowers over military conflicts, drug trafficking, and artificial intelligence. Officials on both sides of the Pacific have set expectations low as Biden and Xi are set to discuss Taiwan, the South China Sea, the Israel-Hamas war, Russia's invasion of Ukraine, North Korea, and human rights, each of them areas where the leaders have been unable to resolve long-standing disagreements.
In order to keep hope alive in the airwaves, Hope Media has a couple of initiatives. Friends of Hope. Friends of Hope is you and I forming a team of well-wishers and volunteers who give in cash and kind to support in spreading the gospel at Hope Media. Currently, Hope Media is running a campaign under Friends of Hope dubbed 100 for 1. Through the campaign, Hope Media is asking Hope FM and Hope TV listeners and viewers to give just 100 shillings in order to reach one more soul with the message of hope and the gospel. Engage with us on our social media platforms at Hope FM Live and at Hope TV Kenya. Kuwa rafiki mso leo.
I've actually been trying to find a balance. It's been really tough and hectic, but everyone says once you get a hang of it, becomes better, and I don't know, but I'm hoping to find a balance soon because it's really been hectic. But you've been in the job industry for a long time, so I think you would know better. Cindy?
Huh? What time is it? I need to catch up on Leadership Forum. Do they have a radio here? Never mind. I brought my own.
No way. You can't be serious. Wait, why do you have a radio and you can just catch up with the shows on Hope FM podcasts?
Really? Even which of the what?
Yeah. I mean, you can find them on whatever platform, name it. AfriPods, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, you name it.
But I'm not subscribed on any of them.
So no worries. You can just check out the latest episodes on hopemediakenya.org.
You can now listen to select Hope FM programs.
Watu wa Mungu, be the vocalist hapa, and I'm just here to give you a testament. I am a living testimony of the slogan of Hope FM, where they say, listen and live. I am such a serious testimony and a testament to that, a statement, because they have impacted my life big time. And imagine ile kitu wanauliza ni ati, the way they have impacted my life and your life, tunaweza jaribu pia to spread hii kitu mpaka uko mashinani, to spread hii word ya God uko mashinani. And the only thing they're requesting us to do is just contribute 100 bob. We just become partners with them. Na unapatana tu na bob moja. Lakini pia kama una feel uko philanthropic sana, unaweza piga jil mbili, tuende hivyo, all right? And so they are calling it 100 for 1, where you just give out 100 bob and they can reach out to another soul. And of course mnauliza, okay, tuko na iso tunatuma wapi? Iso tunatuma via M-Pesa na tuko na P-bill number. P-bill number yetu ni 933933. Alafu hapo kwa account name, all right? Andika tu FOH, yani Friends of Hope. Alafu tuma ile kitu natuma. Hapo mbele ni pin number yako na ni siri yako. Alafu tu ushamaliza hii kitu, click on the send. Na imagine utakuwa umefanya kitu moja serious sana. We as Hope Media tutakuwa tumereach out to one soul. God bless you. Be in it.
Yesu ndiye njia.
Mtoto gani katika hii ulimwengu ameitwa Mungu mkuu?
Nasema akasema udhu billahi.
Hata leo usisema udhu billahi, tafadhali usikize.
Yesu ndiye njia, uchambuzi wa masuala tata katika Biblia na vitabu vingine vya kidini.
No, we don't believe that Christ was crucified. Christ was taken right to heaven by 4 angels, 4 archangels.
Kama Muhammad ndiye alikuwa wa kwanza kuleta dini ya Kiislamu na alikuja after Jesus, sasa inawezekanaje Ibrahimu awe Muislamu, Musa awe Muislamu?
Yesu ndiye njia, jadala wa moja kwa moja kati ya walimu wa Kikristo na dini zingine.
Wanasema Mwenyezi Mungu ana mtoto. Jambo hilo wanasema limeleta jambo ambalo linachukiza.
Siri ya Mungu ambaye Mungu amejidhihirisha katika mili. Hii yote ni ukafiri.
Mumefanya makosa makubwa sana kusema kwamba Isa ibn Maryam ni Mungu wa pili na Allah ambaye ameumba mbingu na ardhi mkasema ni Mungu wa tatu.
Yesu ndiye njia, Jumamosi kuanzia saa 1:30 jioni kwenye runinga uipendayo ya Hope TV.
To some business news now, Zimele Asset Management has launched a new digital administrative and investment solution that will not only offer Chama's attractive investment return, but will also give the members greater control and transparency in administering their finances. Dubbed the Zimele Chama Manager, the platform is anchored on the Zimele Savings Plan in the Zimele Unit Trust, which is licensed and regulated by the Capital Markets Authority. To lessons from the entrepreneur, financial literacy is what every entrepreneur should know. Entrepreneurs venturing out face many financial challenges that they need addressed, that they can navigate so that they can navigate the sector better. Tonight, Veronica Okola, an expert on these financial matters, especially for small and medium-sized enterprises, is on set to discuss some of these challenges and possible solutions that entrepreneurs can use. This coming up after this short break.
Kwa majina mi ni Roberto Wanyonyi. Mi ni mzaliwa wa Kitale hapa Matunda Mossbridge. Na mimi nimekuwa fan wa Hope kuanzia 2007 wakati Anthony Ndiema alikuanga pale kwa studio. So nilijua Hope FM tu kulikuwa na msichana ambapo saizi ni marehemu, because sasa yeye ndiye alikuwa na time ya kusikiliza hiyo mchana, ndio pia sisi tukaanza kusikilizia hapo sababu ilikuwa ni hiyo kipindi cha Shangilia. So tukawa hapo, nikawa fan kuanzia 2007. Nikakuja pia nikaja Nairobi 2011. Nakumbuka kulikuwa na asubuhi kina Rota Kidula na nini, alikuwa Justus Owaka ndio alikuanga hiyo morning. So bahati mbaya nikaamka tu hivi asubuhi nikienda kazini, nilikuwa na duka. So kuingia kwa duka hivi, kufungua duka, kuprepare tu vile tu unaelewa kazi ya duka vile inakuanga, bahati mbaya nikafamiwa na wakora. Kibahati mbaya ambapo pia ni bahati nzuri sababu nashukuru Mungu niko mzima, nilipigwa risasi ya spine. So hiyo risasi ikacross, ikatoka nilipigwa na right, ikacross ikakuja left, ambapo niko nayo saizi almost 7 years bado haijatolewa sababu walisema haiwezi kutolewa. So hapo nikakimbizwa kwa hospitali. Sasa ikawa pia bado tu ni sasa nikiwa kwa hospitali nikawa siwezi tena kusikiliza hiyo station, lakini rafiki yangu akaja akanibaia simu. Kwa simu nikaanza kusikiliza tena Hope FM, hiyo simu ambayo nilinunua na rafiki yangu. Sasa wakati nilikuwa nasikiliza Hope FM, nakumbuka nilisikiliza karibu mwaka moja kama niko kwa hospitali. So wakati nilikuwa nasikiliza, ambapo nilikuwa ninaamuka na Hope FM. Hiyo worship hour niko Hope FM. Kipindi ya shangilia niko Hope FM. Route 104 niko Hope FM. Breath of Heaven niko Hope FM. Mtu unatune kutoka wapi? Because kuna wale wanatune kutoka Kitale, kuna wale wanatune kutoka Nairobi, kuna wale hata wale wanatune kama wako nje ya Kenya, wengine wako Saudi. So tukawa tunatune tu hivyo, kila mtu anasema mahali penye anatune. So mi nikawa huwa natune nikiwa KNH, na mostly nilikuwa naandika tu KNH woti 4C. Kila siku KNH woti 4C. Hata kama ni hiyo asubuhi, hata kama ni hiyo ushipu hour, hata kama ni shangilia, kila wakati ninatune tu nikiwa KNH woti 4C. So tukapandana na dada moja anaitwa Milia Chero. Hiyo time alikuwa kwa Saudi Arabia. So akaniulizia sana kujua ni nini nafanyanga hapo KNH. Mimi ninafanya kazi hapo ama ni nini, sababu kila mara anaonanga uchumba wangu ninatune nikiwa KNH. Nikaambia Milia, hapana. Mimi niliumizwa na wakora. So pia yani kumweleza ikawa ni painful story. Na sasa sababu alikuwa mbali, akatuma rafiki yake anaitwa Etimbogo. Na huyu alikuja akanitembelea. Sasa nikawa ninamjua. So the following day akaenda akaongea the following week Sunday yenye inafuata akaenda akaongea na marafiki zake. Sasa kuanzia hapo ambapo mwenye sikuwa na marafiki, wale marafiki zangu wa kwanza walikuwa wameniacha, kupitia Hope FM nikapata marafiki wengine wapya. Sasa wakawa wakikuja kunitembelea, wananiletea maziwa, wanakuja wananiletea maji. Ninakumbuka hata kuna Christmas moja, kuna Christmas ya 2018 Mwalimu Bennett pia akaja hiyo saa 10 tukakuwa nao, yani wakatuonyesha upendo kabisa, yani tukapika mapicha at least, yani nikakuwa na furaha, nikasema kumbe kuna watu wanaweza nipenda hivyo kupitia kwa kusikiliza radio. Na hata wakati nilijaziwa hapo KNH, sababu nimekaa mwaka mmoja nikiwa peke yangu, so ilikuwa ni shangwe na nderemo. Manake Amani Aila alitangaza pale kwa studio kwamba Robert Wanyonyi amefanya nini, amedischargiwa. Sasa saizi hayuko KNH. Nataka nishukuru Mungu kwa sababu ya Hope FM Media. Imekuwa ya baraka kwa maisha yangu, na pia imekuwa ya baraka kwa watu wengine, sababu hata kila mahali nikienda, mahali mtu tu asikie jina anasema, unajua mimi ni mwana timu kubwa. Sasa unajua sasa sisi wenyewe tunajuana kwa lugha. Ukisikia tu huyu ni mwana timu kubwa, jua huyu anasikilizanga Hope FM. Sasa hata unapata wengine wenye walikuanga maybe wananisikia, sasa ukikutana naye umwambie tu jina, anasema nakujua na kusikilizanga Hope FM. Na Hope FM imefanya paka hata wazazi wangu kule nyumbani Kitale wakaanza kusikiliza Hope FM sababu ya huo upendo. So Hope FM imekuwa ya baraka na imekuza moyo wangu na pia imekuza maisha yangu. So saizi bado huwa naisikiliza na bado imekuwa ya baraka, na ninajua kwamba itasitu kuwa ya baraka kwa wengi.
Welcome back. Now, entrepreneurs venturing out face many financial challenges that they need addressed so that they can navigate their sector better. Tonight, we have Veronica Okola, an expert on these financial matters, especially for small and medium-sized entrepreneurs. And she's here to help us discuss some of these issues. Karibu sana, Veronica.
Asante.
So as an entrepreneur, I think the first thing I'd want to know is if I'm doing this on a side hustle basis, and I want to now venture out to now fully focus on that.
Yeah.
At what point in my financial journey, especially, should I then feel I have enough capital to start out? What are some of the modes that I should look at?
Okay, I think it depends. And I don't think there's any particular time in our life that we say, like, now I have enough. Even if you put a target of maybe you want to raise this particular amount, it will reach a time when you meet that target, you'll want more and more and more. So the best advice I could give, just start with whatever you have. Even if you've raised like 100,000 and you feel like there's something I can do with this particular 100,000, I just encourage you to go on. There's no right time.
So this also translates in the services and the goods that they offer as entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
So that, for example, people who are selling goods, it's a bit easier for them to determine the pricing of what it is that I'm offering. But for people in the services sector, don't seem to quite know how to price the services. Think of people like in consultancy.
Okay.
How would they then decide this much I'm putting into the business to start up, but now this much is what I'll be able to charge for my services?
Okay,
Is there
so
some guideline on how to do this?
yeah, I think when you're coming up with the prices, there are a lot of things that you should consider. Like you should consider the taxes. You should also consider your cost and the cost you like everything, operational cost, labor and everything. So those factors, they should determine how much your product is supposed to cost. Yeah.
And so for entrepreneurs who are currently doing their businesses and they probably want to know if I'm to start, especially startups, people who are starting, they know very well that when they go to the financial institutions like banks to borrow money to start, the banks will tell them, no, you don't have much in your statement.
Yeah.
And they will turn them away. So what would you advise as a financial literacy champion for people who want to raise capital? Do we fundraise? Do we go to the family? Where do we start? Because the banks will not give us money.
Yeah, absolutely. So the banks will give you money. It's
Oh, they
not
will?
correct that they will not give you money. But is the cash. They will not just give you money because now you have business idea, so you by default qualify for a financing. We look at what we call like the turnovers. The turnovers, you can build them over time. We don't look at the amount that you have in your account that time to see how much you qualify for a loan. We look at like the money that has been coming into your account and the money that has been getting into your account, getting out of your account. So as an entrepreneur, as long as you have that dream, I think the first step you should start looking for like think of a partner who will walk you through the journey. And partners in this case, you can think of a bank that you'd like to, like, make this business I want to open. I want to walk through this journey with this particular bank. So once you identify your bank, make sure like you build your statements, because whenever you go to the bank, they look at the turnovers. And so once you have your statements right, then now there's something called collateral, which normally disqualify a lot of people. So banking, I think that is the greatest challenge for startups especially, because in most cases, maybe you don't have the collaterals. Yeah.
What would you as a champion then advise somebody who wants to start a business as some of the sources that they can actually be able to use to finance their ventures?
Okay, there are many avenues apart from banking. You can also look at the government grants. Once you have an idea, you've done your market research, and you think like this idea is viable, it can sell through you look at the feasibility. Is it scalable? Can it expand? Because those are the key things that investor will look at. Then now you look for forums, maybe innovation forums, entrepreneurship forums, network, and sell your idea. Maybe you can get an angel investor. Yeah, somebody willing to invest in your idea. That is after they have seen like the scalability, there's room for expansion, there's return, because like if somebody is investing in your idea, it's not charity.
They want to be able to benefit from
what
it.
is in for me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about market research. Let's now dwell a bit about that. A lot of us will just see a friend starting a shop and decide, even me, I want to start a shop, You come and along a road, you find like several butcheries lined up there. And you just know somebody here was not really
or
baking.
liquor store.
Oh, like, yes. So tell us a bit about market research and the scope of that an entrepreneur should.
Okay, if I give you like a short story about market research. For example, in my village, we used to travel and go to the river to fetch water. So we could like walk maybe 1 to 2 hours with the fellow girls. So since we are going long distance, we could gather in groups and go and fetch water. Then now somebody thought like, maybe these girls, maybe this is posing insecurities, maybe this is like a lot of things they assume that could be happening to these girls. Maybe 2 hours is too much, they're getting tired. And so they
Just
decide,
time on the road.
yeah, exactly. And so they came up with maybe a borehole system. So in the borehole, I could spend maybe a maximum of 20 minutes. Then now, the girls now stopped going to the borehole. And reasons, nobody knew. So when a research was done, they realized like when we were traveling the long distance, we were having stories about our boyfriends, what happened in the village, the
It
gossip.
was a social
yes.
moment for you.
Yeah.
It wasn't just the water.
So yeah.
Really.
So like we never complained about the distance. We never complained about wasting time. So like this person, they built a product based on what they thought is right for the end user. So I think as an entrepreneur, when you're coming up with a business idea, put yourself in the shoes of whom are you building this product for?
Yes.
Yeah. Do they appreciate it? If I can give you like a good example, look at the flyovers in Nairobi. How many people do use the flyovers? So like if you're building any business idea to address the challenge of the flyover, maybe what you should come up with is why are they not using the flyover? Your business idea should address why. It's an opportunity. Yeah.
In the
Instead
human
of
element.
just assuming like, yeah, I saw somebody is venturing into liquor store and I think it can work for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does work though. When
Yeah.
people, line up liquor stores are all
In rare cases, because maybe they have their own structure. Then there's also luck. So
Oh,
it doesn't
okay.
happen to everyone.
Okay, so somebody on social media is asking, so how does one go about the question of 5 years or more experience when starting out as a new company and you're bidding for work?
I think like the problem that we have, especially the youth, is like I want to achieve it alone.
Yeah.
I want to do it myself. Maybe I have a project and I feel like if I collaborate with my friend, maybe they'll be better than me. So I think if you are starting and you need that experience, you should embrace collaboration with other people so that you tap into the experience that they have. Maybe you have the capital, but you don't have you have the opportunity, you have the capital, but you lack the experience. So if you collaborate, we both win. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then another question here, where can one secure monies for bid bonds, implementation of activities, and other expenses where a client does not provide down payment? Now, the issue of down payment is quite thorny there. But somebody's giving you a job to do, and then they require that they're not giving you down payment to even start off, especially for startups, it's quite a challenge.
Yeah, suppliers, contractors, and lots of.
Yes.
So what I would advise them when you go to the bank, and maybe if you share your need, what they want, they always have products that are tailored to every specific needs of every client. So we have bank guarantees. There are so many options, except like even still bank guarantees, there's still amounts that you need to deposit. Yes.
So still,
you just have to have the capital.
But that rule is very punitive, especially for people who are starting out. It doesn't seem to really favor them as much. So does collaboration also, the way you have talked about it, also come in that?
Collaboration, yes.
Okay. And what are some of the other, when you talk about the ABCs of finances that a startup should have in mind when they're doing their budgeting, when they're thinking of expansion, when they're thinking of even paying their suppliers and those kind of things? Are there some set rules that you can, as a financial literacy champion, advise them to have in place? So that, their business can kind of make sense for a while before, they can start thinking.
So I think once you know the business, the particular business that you want to participate in or you want to venture into, it's important to know come up with a business plan. And in your business plan, you should have, like, it should address the market research, risk, like what happens, what is your fallback if your plan doesn't go according to how you thought it would be. What happens? Does your business die? Do you continue? And how will you meet? For example, if I'm starting a business, I don't expect like my business will be paying me maybe for the first 3 months. How will you cater for the cost? If you have an employee, how will you be paying them? I think those are key things that as an entrepreneur, you need to think about them. Rent, like if you're not able, if your business is not able to sustain itself for the first days, how will you go through it? Yeah.
In the risk analysis, I normally hear people are told to at least have some money for, is it 3 months or 6 months?
For 6 months. It's called emergency fund.
Yeah, it's an emergency fund. Okay. So how does that work, for example?
For emergency fund, if I give you example of personal, as a personal person, maybe if your expenses in a month are 100,000, let's say, your emergency fund, it means like if your basic expenses are 100,000 in a month, your emergency fund should be at least 600,000. Your emergency fund should be what caters for your expenses for the next 6 months. If I lose my job today, can I sustain myself for the next 6 months? If my business dies today, can I sustain my daily life for the next 6 months? Yes.
Wow. So maybe on a sad note, maybe I can ask you then at what point do you say that this business has really not worked? I need to put it to bed. What are some of the parameters that I should look at when I'm just reviewing my business and looking at it and thinking, no, this one
is not working.
It is not working, and let me not push further or maybe pump in more resources to it. Let me just rest it.
So I think as an entrepreneur, you should be resilient and persistent. You should not give up. Even if your business idea was maybe you want to come up with, let's say, you want to do an hotel, then it doesn't work. You can change to butchery. You can try other options that are available because life doesn't stop. At the end of the day, you have to live. If it's through entrepreneurship, you have to go on. Yeah.
Okay. So never give up. Keep going.
Never give up. Be resilient and understand whatever business you want to do proper market research so that you avoid those cases where your business will flop. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. I think I will rest this matter right here on that sad note. I'm still optimistic. We wrap up this bulletin now. We will look at a story. The images for national soccer star Harambee Stars were exiting the country for a qualifiers match. We're leaving you this bulletin with some of those images from the airport as they left for the country. But thank you so much, Veronica, for making time to speak with us on Lessons from the Entrepreneur. My name is Melissa Oduor. Until next time.
It's a long road. After we had 500 days of ban, now after more than 2 years, now we have official matches. Work on details. This means tactically, especially details, where we have to work on more. And people have to understand that if it's a national team, you have not daily training. And daily training, you can solve all the problems easier. We have only short times. Like you see here, we will have with a full squad only one training before we go to the match. So therefore, it's not easy to put all these things together.